So this year's proved to be a big year so far for Virtual DJ, releasing Virtual DJ 2018, which typically for that platform is full of stuff that you don't see in any other DJ software. Some really innovative stuff going on around visuals, some really innovative stuff going on around sharing and streaming your sets. So with all that in mind, I've got Stephane Clavel, who is the founder of Virtual DJ, on the line now to talk to us about Virtual DJ past, present and future. So hello, Stephane.
Happy to be here and happy talking with you.
Great. So tell us, Virtual DJ 2018, we know about it, we've reviewed it, but some people watching this won't know what the big new things are in your software. Maybe you can just give us a quick rundown of what's new.
Well, like this year, every year we try to push like different field and different parts with new innovation. This year we definitely pushed much more on the video side. And when I say video, I don't mean like mixing music video. I mean like doing video for people who are mixing audio mostly. And we're trying to help people create a show out of their DJing experience. And we think that DJ should be more than just putting audio tracks, and it should be a full show, and we help them put the show together. Whether it's in the club on screen or whether it's like on the social media platform. Now it's very trendy to broadcast yourself on YouTube and Facebook, etc.
So more about the visual show than playing music videos, which is a good distinction to make for people who aren't sure what you mean by this. And like you say, it's quite trendy at the moment, right? There's lots of innovation going on in DJ lighting as well, which is all part of the visual stuff, but it's a little bit different what you've done in Virtual DJ, isn't it? So maybe you can just, for people who aren't sure what's changed, tell people what's new in the visual side of stuff.
So the main idea is like we wanted to help the DJ bring the audience like if they're standing in the booth behind them. And because it's very good for the patrons of a club or a party or whatever. Like everybody wants to be a DJ, everybody wants to understand what the DJ is going on, but they're in the club and they just listen to the music. So we made this feature where when the DJ is mixing on the big screen in the club or in the bar, people are gonna see some like cool and good-looking representation of what the DJ is doing. If he's putting some effects, if he's putting a loop, what song he's playing now, when he's mixing, so that people can be drawn into the mix and feel like they're not just listening to it, they're understanding it.
So this is really interesting in this game, in this world of Twitch and gaming being streamed online and stuff. It's almost making DJing a bit more of a like watching a gaming video, really, but you're watching a kind of live DJ video as well, right?
No, yeah, like I mean, in the club, a lot of people would love to look behind the shoulder of the DJ. They just don't do it because you cannot fit all the club in the DJ booth. But as a person of interest in the club, and not just the guy who put the music that nobody cares about.
So tell me about the other, what I would say the other big changes, which is kind of like pushing forward with sharing your music, streaming your music, getting your stuff out of the software and into the world in kind of new ways. And again, there's some new stuff in Virtual DJ that we haven't seen to this extent in any other software.
Yeah, especially in 2018, like social media is more and more important. And every DJ, when you start as being like a wedding DJ and you want to grow up as a DJ, and to grow up as a DJ, you need to build followers. And right now, nowadays, the way to do this, it's to build a social media presence. So like every DJ knows, you need to be on Facebook and you need to have followers and they need to start to listen to you. So we decided to make Virtual DJ help people do this by giving you very easily just the click of one button in the software and you're live on Facebook and you can start to play your favorite routine or just like a full session for your audience to try to help build your fame and help become famous on Facebook and YouTube by getting huge followers. And then you can just go to the club owner and say, I have 2 million followers on Facebook who listen to my mix every Friday night. Do you want me to play in your club? And it's much easier.
Probably a lot easier at that point to ask for the gig than to find 2 million followers, Stephane. But you've always been an optimistic guy, so I like that. So of course the visuals side of it, combined with the ability to stream very easily, take the two of them together, and you've got kind of all the parts you need to share something that looks great on social media, right?
Yeah. Well, the last innovation that we put is because. On this, there is a big difference between the US and Europe, actually. In the US, more and more DJs are playing videos. In Europe, nobody's playing video. And because we don't want European people to be left out, we also decided we need to do something for people who play only audio tracks so that they can have something to show on screen. So we actually made an integration with a website called Shader Toy. It's a website that's been used mostly by the hacker community and demo scene, and the brightest mind in programming. They're all there doing competitions of who's doing the most beautiful visuals, and it's kind of lost to the world because it's a very small circle. So we tapped into this resource, and you have thousands and thousands of amazing visualization that react on the music that nobody was using. So now it's a click of a button and it's in Virtual DJ reacting to your music.
It's funny you should say that. It's something from the hacker community, because the way that we've always kind of told the virtual DJ story here is kind of like you've got the kind of purist musical kind of software. You've got the well-marketed, very licensed, lockdown kind of software in DJing, and then you've got virtual DJ, which is very fast of foot and always the first to get somewhere. It'll have a go at something first, a bit like the hacker community will have a go at something first. If I had to divide up all the things that people are into online nowadays, you'll be with the hackers and with Bitcoin and with all the stuff that's kind of on the edge and maybe a bit edgy and maybe not quite proven yet, and maybe it's going to work, maybe it isn't. You've always kind of had that experimental edge, which I think has been a strength and a weakness to virtual DJ. Would you accept that has been the case? It's kind of been what you're good at, but also sometimes it's what turns people off the software.
Well, definitely our philosophy is very different and has been for the last 20 years than the competitors. We always try to ask ourselves the question okay, I'm not mixing with CDs anymore. I'm mixing with a computer. And then what? What can it do more than a CD? What can it do more than a vinyl? Because it's a computer, for sure there can be something more. And that's why we try to say, okay, 10 years ago, maybe we can mix video. And we started to mix video, including with the DVS system, and people were scratching their vinyl and it was scratching the video. And then say, oh, maybe we can do online catalog, so you can have all the music before Spotify even existed. We have a computer. We need to use this to not carry disc around, but have all the music from the world at your fingertip. Then all the new features for sandboxing, have a computer, what can it be used for? Okay, I'm in the booth, I'm mixing, I'm in the club, and most DJs, they spend 3 minutes or 2 minutes listening at the song and then 30 seconds mixing. These 2 minutes, you need to use them for something useful. So we made this sandbox feature where they can prepare their mix and just in their headphones so that they're ready when it's the transition time. Or all the features that we put, they're it's also gratifying for us to see that all the competitors, 1 or 2 years later, all of them take the features that we introduced. And all the features that we introduced, 90% of them end up in the competitor. And when I was saying it's a different philosophy, it's people like Serato, they come from a background that the vinyl can do this. We need to do exactly the same, and we need to be as close as the vinyl feeling as we can. While we're always been we don't care about the vinyl feeling. We want to know, we have a computer in our hand. What cool stuff can we dream of doing with it that we couldn't do with the vinyl? So it's a very different approach.
I think that even the name virtual DJ is both a strength and a weakness for you, because as a strength, it does what you just said. It implies what can we do in a virtual world that we couldn't do in the real world with real plastic and needles, and but at the same time, it kind of implies something not quite real, right? And that's going to divide people down the middle. It's going to turn some people off, and it's going to really attract others.
We clearly see a very clear separation in the market. And the market, like DJ market, is like a pyramid. And definitely Recordbox and Serato, they have the tip of the pyramid, and we have the base, which I don't mind because it means that I fly in private jet and I make much more money because the base is much bigger. But that being apart, like it's also because of this different philosophy. Serato has been telling DJs, you're David Guetta, you've been mixing for 20 years and you earned shitload of money because you're such good DJ, because you know how to make tricks with the vinyl. Use Serato, and all the tricks that you learned, you spent 20 years perfecting your show, you can move this to the software because we are so close to the vinyl feeling. Well, I'm coming and I'm saying like, yeah, and we have this magic wand button, you click on it and in 5 seconds you mix like David Guetta. Of course, if Guetta hear this to marketing, he's going to say, fuck virtual DJ, and he's going to go directly on Serato because he wants to feel like everything he learned in the past 20 years, it's going to be useful on the software. Well, we have the philosophy to say like, everything you learned for the last 20 years, it's not going to be relevant anymore. Now, anybody can mix as good and even better with the software. So I think that's the main reason why like the top DJs and like the household names that have build their career and their fame on skills, they don't like when we come and say like, these skills, they're not so relevant anymore. We can do much faster and better with the software. So that's why we have this divide. And like young DJs, they're more like, yeah, of course, it's so much easier with virtual DJ and we can do so much more. And that's why we're getting all of them now.
So it's interesting you should say that. We have exactly the same pyramid, and we, as a company, aim for the people at the bottom towards the middle for different reasons. Just as soon as people are getting to the top of that pyramid, they don't need a training company, right? They know enough. But it's interesting to hear you say that because we use that analogy a lot. Another thing I guess is different about virtual DJs. You don't ask for permission to work with stuff. It's in your DNA to make sure your software works with anything you plug into it. And I would say to the point where people would expect whatever they plug into virtual DJ to just work. And I guess that kind of ruffles a few feathers along the way as well. Would that be a fair thing to say?
Oh yeah, we had a few hardware companies who tried to lock us out unsuccessfully, but so yeah, we're like the competitors. They are like having teams of lawyers during agreements, and we just do it. And because we're not here to make the hardware company happy or to make like the labels happy, or we're here to make the DJs happy. We work for the DJs, and it's always been from the very beginning of virtual DJ. The idea was like, I want to broaden the base of people who try DJing. 20 years ago, when we started virtual DJ, nobody mixed on computers at this time. And if you wanted to be a DJ, you had to buy turntables, you had to put thousands of dollars up front just to learn how to beat match. And maybe it wasn't for you and you gave up and you just lost a few $1,000s. But I'm sure like there were a lot of very talented DJs who never even tried because they didn't want to put up front all this money just to get started. And now with software, like I'm proud to be part of this revolution and digitalization of the DJing, that now anybody can try. And a few of them who are going to be like genius musically and like are going to be the next future star, maybe they wouldn't have tried without DJing softwares.
So it's you I'm sure don't need me to point this out to you, but we hear it all the time from our crowd. Two things really. I started on virtual DJ and I'm fond of it, even from people who don't use it anymore. And the other thing we hear is, I always keep virtual DJ as a backup because I know if everything else goes wrong, I can plug virtual DJ in and it will not let me down. So in a way, that kind of sums up the kind of challenge that you guys have, but also the strengths of you guys, even among people who have chosen for whatever reason to go off in another direction, that they find it very hard to let go of virtual DJ, having used it at some point in their career. It's
two things that you said, like, that I want to come back to. Like, the first thing is like, yeah, even people who use competitor software, they have virtual DJ as a backup. And the reason, like, we have the lowest crash ratio in the industry for a very good reason. It's like, virtual DJ, like you made the analogy with the hacker group in the beginning. We're not hackers, but we try to focus on getting the best genius programmers, and we don't put all our focus on getting the biggest marketing department. So we're a company that makes softwares, not marketing. We don't try to get endorsement. We don't spend millions in deals with partners. We spend all the money hiring the best minds that will make the best innovations, and also make sure that the software is rock solid, because it's built by the best programmers, and they spend like countless hours reviewing every line of codes. Because again, we owe it to the DJ. We're not here for the shareholders. I don't have shareholders. We're not here for like the deals with companies. We're here for the DJs. We want to make sure that we're not going to let them down in the middle of a gig by having the software crashing. So it's very important for us, like the stability. And
it's, as someone who's worked, as you have, in this industry for many, many, many years, I think it's just gratifying to see that there is room for everyone. There's room for all the philosophies. There's room for the marketing philosophy. There's room for the software that wants to stay very close to the way it always used to be, and therefore stays quite conservative. And there's room for someone like you, making innovative software that does ruffle feathers and does kind of upset people along the way. And I guess now it's too late to change, right? You know who your audience is, you know who it isn't, and it's just a case of taking it as far as you can in the direction we're no big changes from here on in, right? It's just
the philosophy is not going to change.
No.
I'm not trying to go after the customers from Serato or Recordbox who say like, I like what I have because I don't like change. If they don't like change, they shouldn't be with us, and we're not going to go after them. But I'm confident that the more like we go in the future, the more people will think like the way we mixed with vinyl and CDs. It's like, okay, 10 years ago it was just the normal way, but now it starts to be the old way. And the more it becomes the old way, the more people will flock to virtual DJ, and the more attractive it will be. Like, I see a very different future for DJing in 10 years than what we have now. So.
Oh, well, it's great to hear you say that. And as always, virtual DJ carving its own niche, and asking for forgiveness after the event rather than permission before it, I think is a nice way of putting the kind of whole philosophy. And it's lovely to follow you, lovely to see it. And I'll let you know, the very first piece of DJ software I chose and paid for was yours back in 2004. And to your credit, I've never paid another penny, because every update has been free ever since, which again is something you can't say of everyone. So,
you would be surprised by the number of people, even famous big names, who would say like, yeah, I started on virtual DJ, even though they're using something else now. Like, everybody started on virtual DJ. So
it was certainly the best available in 2004 by a long way, and I tried them all very carefully, and was playing in clubs kind of like a week after I got it, using it. So there you go. And always been very popular among our audience as well. So Stephane, it's been great to hear the virtual DJ side of the story in 2018, and thank you very much for your time. Anything else you want to add before we finish?
I think you covered pretty much everything of it.
Good.
If you want to talk more about like how I see the future of DJing, we could schedule this for another interview. Why not
end off with Stephane's prediction, something from your kind of book of the future. Share something that you think might be happening in the near future with the audience.
Okay, to make it fast, look at how the musicians industry in clubs evolved. Like 20 years ago, you would have a group on stage and they will plug all their guitars and drums and microphones, and they will perform like 3-4 songs, and then they will go, and that was their performance in the club. Nowadays, you go in any VIP clubs from Miami to Dubai to Saint-Tropez, and you have a saxophonist, you have a drummers, and they're in the middle of the audience. They're playing wireless. They sit at the table with the VIP clients. They interact with the audience. DJs are going to go this way. It's still very early. It's not going to happen in the next 2-3 years. But in 10 years, I am sure you won't find DJ booths anymore, and all the DJs are going to be walking amongst the audience, asking people, what do you want next? Sitting with the VIP clients to order the big bottle, to ask them like what's your preference, or maybe even let them put some effects themselves, like being much more interactive. Like, we are going more and more into like interactive show, and less like the DJ in his booth hidden.
That's an interesting prediction. Well, let's into your 4th decade of making DJ software. Let's see if that turns out to be the case as we hit the late 2020s. Stephane, thank you very much for your time today and for sharing your vision and answering all my questions, even the hard ones. And we wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you for having me, and have a nice day.
Cheers.